I can drive fast and I'm a safe driver. There's nothing wrong with my driving. When we hit a yellow light, she feels more comfortable if I don't run the light, and I feel more comfortable running the light. I hit a yellow light and I sped up and went through the yellow light, and a policeman pulled me over and he comes up to my car and he says, "You know what you did?" Actually, he didn't even ask me. I said, "Hey, I made it through that yellow light." And he says, "Yes, you did at 85.
I was thinking about times when I've felt overwhelmed, and I know you talk about that in your books too, when women feel overwhelmed and or I feel like there's just too much to do, or there's so much on my list, or I feel so much pressure or pulled in so many different directions. As women, we often, and I'm sure men do too, but as women,
Not
I
as
know
much
we
as
often.
women. Not as much as
Okay. And so when that happens, one thing that I've noticed is that helps is for me to say this to my husband. I just need you to listen. I just need to share. I'm not making this your fault. I'm just feeling overwhelmed with this and this and this and this and this. And then I have started, and this is something I've learned, there might have been a part of me somewhere in the past that would have thought he should have seen I have all these things on my plate and he should have been jumping in and helping me more. But now I've learned, John, through talking with you, through studying your work, that I need to be able to ask him. And so I'll say, would you help me, or would you do this, this, and this, and take those off my list? And a lot of times they're small things, but like it can, even if he does one or two small things that are like weighing on my mind, because we have so many things on our minds so often as women, it makes me feel so much better, so supported, and he gets to feel my appreciation and gratitude, and I feel like he cares about me, and it's a whole nother opportunity for us to connect. Where in the beginning, I might have been thinking, early on in our marriage, I might have been thinking he should be able to see all these things that are going on, and he should be jumping in and helping me. So like the asking, learning how to, one of the things that has been so profound in talking with you in my own marriage is instead of like criticizing or being upset with him or making him wrong or bad in my mind, or, giving him the cold shoulder or whatever we do, silly games that we do, is just share and ask for support, asking for help. And I guess that's part of that vulnerability that we really started with, is me tuning into my own feelings, my own needs, even wants. Like a lot of times I think we have to be reminded it's okay to have both needs and wants, and to ask for support in those things.
You are so brilliant. I think that's why people like our videos the best. I always enjoy talking with you because you're able to hear what I say and then say how you're doing it and how you apply it or why it works. People need examples of seeing that this stuff works, that this is very, very real, because it's very scary to ask a man for help. Now, now realize to do something that's scary makes you feel vulnerable. See, that already to do something which is scary makes you more attractive to a man. And so this can be applied not so much in the dating, but it can, but just to know, I'm thinking of single women at this point, but I'm going, when you're in a relationship, there's so many extra things you can do to change your history of relationships. And what you've just explained is, you've been in relationships where men stop doing things and giving. That creates a kind of a jaded perspective of men, more mistrust. But when you can see things you could have done that you didn't do, your sense of, we could try that out. It's an eagerness and openness to be less judgmental or less mistrusting of men when you can see how you could have done it differently and gotten different results. And that's what you do for people. And I have a new process that I'm sharing in the new book, which is fun to share. It's called the five finger ask. Have you heard that I've done that on your shows before?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So this is sign language. Sign language is really good for guys. Okay. It's silence, it's making a request. Now you probably remember when we're driving in the car, my wife wants me to slow down. We do sign language. She just grabs the handle and I immediately slow down and I put my hand on her thigh. I said, and I did that for you. And she's so sweet. She says, I know, and I appreciate it. So it always becomes a moment of connection. Sometimes I would drive a little fast just so she could put her handle up and I could touch her and say, That was for you. And she always felt appreciative of it because she knew that I can drive fast and I'm a safe driver. There's nothing wrong with my driving. If we're late, she wants me to drive fast. Also at yellow lights, when we hit a yellow light, she feels more comfortable if I don't run the light, and I feel more comfortable running the light. And just to help remember this story, I would tell a very funny story because I do drive rather fast. And when I hit a yellow light and I sped up and went through the yellow light, and the policeman pulled me over and he comes up to my car and he says, "You know what you did?" Actually, he didn't even ask me. I said, "Hey, I made it through that yellow light." And he says, "Yes, you did at 85. I got a speeding ticket. But, yeah, that's just to remember this point. But whenever I would stop at a yellow light, I put my hand on her thigh, and I would always stop at yellow lights when she was in the car as a way to acknowledge my wife, who's sitting next to me. And she doesn't have a steering wheel. She doesn't have an accelerator. She doesn't have brakes. She's in a very vulnerable situation. So if men can learn to drive in ways that make women feel safe, that's the best estrogen stimulator there is. You'll see a lot as women get older, they're driving their husbands around. And of course, why? Because she complained so much about his driving. He said, "Okay, if you want to drive, then you just drive." Okay. And he'll just take the passive seat. His testosterone goes down and her testosterone goes up when you drive. It's a major testosterone stimulator for men. And it's a major stress stimulator for women if she doesn't feel that I can communicate and instantly get results. See, that's the key for women to say, "I have a need," and he jumps on it right away. That's profound, as opposed to ask the guy to do something. He'll say, I'll get to it. And then he'll forget it and all that. So what this new technique that's so fun, I do in my new marriage now, which is I put my wife, I told her, just put your hand up. It's a signal, which means I'm going to ask you to do something that will take less than 5 minutes. And we're going to play a little game. And ideally you do it every day, but you don't have to. And when she puts her hands up, no matter what I do, I stop instantly. I say, "What is it?" Because I know it's only going to take me 2 or 3 minutes. And it's going to help her brain stop obsessing over what she has to do. Because one of the most powerful ways to shift a woman's brain from all the things I have to do, you see, there's a momentum that builds up. Men have that momentum, but we have a way to turn it off. Testosterone turns it off. Okay, we can turn it off. You cannot turn it off. Okay,
right.
So that's why you ruminate. This is all science. Women ruminate. If you talk about your feelings to somebody who listens, that will help. But even more, okay, just without even having to talk, is to ask a man to do something that you can do yourself. Okay, and he will eagerly respond to it with no resistance. So ask a man to do something that you could do for yourself, that you would do for yourself, but you don't have to do for yourself because he's doing it for you. Now, this comes me back to the movie The Princess Bride. Do you remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Women in our generation. Princess Bride, great movie. She falls in love with the guy who's the country guy, doesn't have money or anything. But he's always helping her, and she asks him to do something. He always says, "As you wish."
As you wish.
As you wish, as you wish, as you wish. And this is what women love, is if they have a need and a man immediately goes, "As you wish." You have to, in that moment, she's a VIP. It doesn't have to be all the time. We have our separate lives but if you ask me to do something, only going to take me 1 minute or 3 minutes or 5 minutes max, there's no part of my brain that has any resistance to that if I know it's going to make you happy. So if you explain to a guy, this actually makes me very happy. It's the essence of what romance is. Romance is providing for women something she could do for herself for an evening. But it doesn't have to be for an evening. It's just simply what it is. It's to stop the momentum of her brain. And NLP is called a pattern interrupt. You've got to interrupt the pattern. And so the pattern is I'm taking on more and more. It's like a snowball coming down a hill. If you just stop the snowball for a minute, the momentum is gone and it will just sit there. It didn't take big force or anything. Just stop it for a minute and the momentum's gone. So
that's probably why it feels so good when even one little thing is taken off the list of the things that are going on in a woman's head.
That's it. It just stops the momentum because you're in this momentum of I have to do. Ironically, for men, the biggest testosterone producer is when he sets a goal, and to achieve that goal, he has to do certain things. As long as he sets the goal, then he's choosing to do those things. So he chooses to do what he has to do. For women, you just have to do, and there's no stop to it. So for men, we want to set goals for men so they can feel, okay, I have to do this and this and this, and it's their choice because they set the goal. But for women, their brain just takes on a whole nother world of mirror neurons open. I've got to do this, and this person is going to hurt, and this person's going to be disappointed, and this person's not going to like me. It's just like, it's all this stuff going on. And so it's particularly adrenaline's being produced, then that momentum is building. All it takes is to feel like somebody just did something for me that I would have done or I could do, and I don't have to do. So you're coming back to that, just a moment of breath where I don't have to do.